Trigger warning. Mentions of hospitalization, family dysfunction, emotional, physical, sexual, verbal abuse, and other things relating to mental health and mental illness will be mentioned in this video. Viewer discretion is advised. So, I'm filming this video in a bit of a rush because I already had this fully recorded, fully edited, because I have this like portable hard drive that for some reason today of all days it wanted to not like show up as like something that was connected via USB to my laptop. So we are recording it all over again, and hopefully I can do it quicker. Hopefully I can get this video up before midnight because I intended to upload this video on my birthday, which is November 30th. Editing Soraya here. Being that I did not make it to where I could upload on my birthday, this video will obviously be up like the next day, which is December 1st. I did not need to record this in a rush, but continue. So, this video, long story short, is 27 things, because I turned 27 today, things that I have been through and accomplished / achieved. If you have already been a subscriber for a certain amount of time, thank you. If this is your first video of mine watching, please make sure to hit the bell next to the subscribe button. That's how you'll actually get notified when I upload. So without further ado, let's get into the video. Number 1, I was born premature as a crack baby. My biological mother, she was on drugs while pregnant with me. I came out very premature, like around 3 pounds. You wouldn't think it because I stand at a ripe 5'10" today. And I had crack in my system when I was born. Number 2, I mentioned, well, I said biological mother because I am adopted. I was adopted as an infant, which is very rare, but I am lucky that I did get adopted at the time that I did. Number 3, I was in special ed, but I was able to excel so well that I was able to just only do it from, I believe it was kindergarten or pre-K up until 2nd grade. Number 4, I had to grow up very quickly. And I know there's other people that can relate to this, meaning that responsibility was put on me at a very young age, a lot of pressure from other people. I was put on this like pedestal pillar almost as a role model for my nieces and nephews, like other people in the family, and even my sister, who was only a year older than me, which when I look back on it now, I feel really bad for her, because in a way it almost tried to like put us against each other, but we have a good relationship now, which I'm very, very thankful for. Number 5, my mother, the one who actually raised me, turned into my patient. My mother's health was starting to decline. I say I noticed it like probably around the age of like 11, 12, when I was 11, 12. She was dealing with arthritis, and then she got diagnosed with diabetes. I was literally at the appointment with her when the doctors told her that she had diabetes. It went from type 2 to type 1 to where she had to take insulin. I had to give the insulin to her at the age of 16, which is illegal because I was a minor. Mind you, I had 4 older brothers, grown men, didn't want to give my mama a needle in her thigh, which the needle is like that big for the little insulin pen she had. But because I was the only one that was paying attention to the home health aide that would come and show her how to do it, and my mother was too scared to do it on herself, which is totally understandable, I had to do it. And when it got to the point where she could like barely walk or make it to the bathroom because it hurt that bad, I would have to help her pee in her garbage can. that was next to her bed. I would help her get dressed, I would help her shave, do her makeup, cook for her, bathe her, all that good stuff. And I would say I developed some arm strength from the amount of times I had to lift her up. Number 6, little funny one. I barely graduated from high school, barely. So my high school that I went to was very ghetto. For those that went to high school with me, they can all attest to this. It was ghetto as hell, okay? It was so bad that the Board of Education gave my school an F+ as a grade. You heard me right, I said an F+. F+. Like, F is already bad, but like the fact that you add a plus is like is like them saying, in case you didn't hear it enough, this school is horrible. And my high school's not even open anymore, it closed. So yeah, I barely graduated because around literally when I started my senior year, like even the end of like my junior year going to my senior year, just a lot of bad stuff was happening at home, which relates to like me having to like grow up quickly, and the point that I mentioned earlier. And maybe senioritis was a factor too, because I didn't really have an idea what I wanted to do yet, and it was affecting me emotionally at that time. And at that time, I didn't realize that, still at that time, I didn't realize what I was dealing with was really bad depression and anxiety, because I didn't get diagnosed with that until 2016. You can watch the video, which I will link here, of when I talk about like my first video of like my depression journey. But luckily, I did graduate high school on time. Thank you, God. And to connect to that, I got to go out of state for college. I went to University of Bridgeport in Bridgeport, Connecticut. Go Purple Knights. And at first I didn't want to, because again, with my mother's health at the time, I just wanted to be with her and I was worried about her. My mother was the one that pushed me to going to college out of state, because she didn't get the opportunity herself. So I was happy that I got to experience that, even though, which leads to number 8, I had to leave college after 1 semester because my mother's health got really bad. This was like a really low point in like her health at the time, to where I was visiting her, well, like going back home every other weekend to like every weekend, and even some days like during the week. Now, Bridgeport, Connecticut to New York City is like an hour and a half, maybe an hour 45, depending if there's like traffic or something happened or whatever, if I have to like switch trains on the Metro North. But it took a toll on me, and I was like running behind on assignments. My professors did have mercy on me because they understood my situation, but I ended up going to, I believe their title was like the advisor, and told them that I wanted to leave. And number 9, my mother did pass away. She passed away May 9th of 2014. And her grief is something that I still deal with. If you guys would like me to do a video on grief, because I did explain before, like in a few videos of like my mother's passing and how it's affected me, and like my relationship with my mother and my father in one of my videos also, let me know in the comments down below, because I think that would be a good video to just have like a sit down talk about dealing with grief. But yeah, she passed away. Then number 10, I had to leave my childhood home. I had lived in like the same apartment, the same building, the same block since I was a baby up until like I was like 19, 20 years old, which you don't really hear a lot in New York City, because like people are kind of known for like moving around like here and there, mainly because the rent is so crazy. Even if you are on Section 8, because I grew up in Section 8 housing. Even the apartment I live in now is Section 8 housing, which that's a whole other story I can get into. This apartment I'm in right now is a literal blessing, but that's a whole nother video. So yes, I had to leave my childhood home. Then from there, number 11, I had to move in with one of my brothers and his girlfriend, and he was abusive. He was physically abusive, verbally abusive, emotionally abusive, and sexually abusive. And I had to live with him from, I'm pretty sure I moved in with him in like the summer. Like it was like summer going into fall up until December. So I want to say like August, September up until December. So I had to live with him for a few months. His girlfriend was super nice though. And she had 2 kids of her own, and she was taking care of her brother because I believe her brother had some type of, I think it was like autism or something like that. They were nice. It was just my brother that was, it was like he was hell to live with. And so from there, that is number 12. I left and I moved in with my aunt. I say aunt because she wasn't my mother's sister. She was a friend of my mother, and she was of an older age, and we just called her aunt. So I moved in with her. Now at this time I got a job. When I was living with my brother, I wasn't employed. When I moved in with my aunt, I did get a job. It was paying pretty well up until I got fired from it, and then I had to find another job. So living with my aunt, I had 2 different jobs. But then it came to a point where she had family coming in from out of town, and she pretty much left me with no choice of like, oh, like you can't stay here. And I had nowhere else to go. And I also had another brother of mine, not the abusive one, but another one, who was living with her as well, really just helping her out financially and like cooking for her and stuff like that. He was able to get like a spare room somewhere, and I had nothing. So my only option, which is number 13, was to go into the shelter system. And the shelter system, I was in that for 2 years, which I'll put that as number 14 because I have it as like another thing here. But that's the next thing. I was homeless for 2 years, from 2016 to 2018. And funny enough, in the like beginning of all this happening in 2016, I ended up getting a boyfriend, which I know he's watching this right now, and me saying that the way I said it, he's gonna laugh and he's probably gonna send me some type of message or call me, but hi. Yeah, we've been together for 5 years. Our anniversary is in July. I'm not gonna say the date because y'all don't need to know all that personal information. Okay. But yeah, he's been with me for a lot of things. He has seen a lot of things happen to me. He has been a huge part of my support system, and I'm grateful for him. I thank God for him every day. I'm gonna stop talking about him because I'm crying. Okay, number 15. I had got raped, and well, 3 different occurrences happened. First occurrence, I got physically jumped in the street. Second occurrence, I got jumped again and then raped. Third occurrence, jumped, raped, and from me being raped, I ended up getting pregnant. I didn't find out that I was pregnant until like I went to the doctor and we did like the blood test and urine test for just like a regular checkup. But then she came back and said like, are you aware that you're like 1 month pregnant? And I had no idea I was 1 month pregnant. And she didn't even like give the option of abortion. She just gave me like all this information for like a OBGYN that goes with my health insurance and all this other stuff. I obviously did not take that. I went to get an abortion because I just couldn't have a child. I was homeless. Emotionally, I was not ready. Financially, I was not ready. And my mindset at the time was like having to go to my boyfriend to tell him that I'm pregnant by another man, even though that man did what he did to me was very wrong. and I shouldn't feel that way about it, but that's how I did feel. And I know I'm not the only one that has gone through that. So yes. Number 16. Now this all happened within like the span of just like a few months. Now number 16, this happened in November of 2016. The rape and like the physical assault happened like more so in like the summer of 2016, along with me getting with my boyfriend. So yes, this is 16. 16 is that I voluntarily put myself in the hospital because I had a suicide attempt. This was at a time where I had cancer for the first time. For those that don't know, I went through cancer 3 times. I don't think I ever made like a video, like a full video talking about my journey with that. If you guys would like a video about that, let me know in the comments. But yes, I've been fought cancer. The name of it is B-cell acute lymphoblastic leukemia 3 times. So around this time is when I was first diagnosed with it, going through chemo treatment. My anorexia was acting up, and not eating and being on chemo makes you lose weight. I was very skinny, and emotionally I was just a hot mess, and I stopped caring, and I thought it was the end of the world because my mindset was like, you're gonna die of cancer anyway, you might as well. So that is why. And number 17, I stayed in the hospital for 2 weeks, literally 2 weeks before my birthday, because my birthday again is on November 30th. Today, literally the day I'm recording this video. And I endured emotional and sexual abuse from the hospital staff in the hospital I stayed in. Number 18, I have had a very, very up and down journey with psychiatrists and therapists. When I was discharged from the hospital, they of course referred me to a psychiatrist and a therapist. Both of those people said that they didn't have the right resources for me and put me to another one, and the next one said the same thing, and the next one, and the next one, and that cycle lasted for a year. Like a year and a half. And it just made me feel like, am I that messed up in the head? Like, because at that point I already felt like something was wrong with me, and then having to go through that just kind of made that opinion about myself a fact to me, and it was just very frustrating. And at one point I did give up on like just seeking therapy all together, but I can now say that I do have the perfect team of people in my corner. I have a psychiatrist, and I have 2 therapists actually that were actually provided for me by my church. And then in the end of 2018, with number 20, I got my own apartment, and I've been living on my own since 2018. So 2018, 2021, that is 3 years? Yeah, 3 years. I'm not good at math, sorry. Even though that was simple, don't judge me. Number 21, around this time, well, around 2016 going to 2017, I was dealing with a lot of criticism from my old church. The church I attend now is different from the one that I attended before. A lot of criticism regarding like me trying to reach out because of things dealing with my mental health. And I received comments and remarks along the lines of, you are Christian, you should not be going through this. You need to learn how to handle your emotions. You are dealing with the spirit of iniquity. You need to pray, you need to do this fast. I was pushed to every altar call. Hands were always laid on me for prayer. People were trying to cast demons out of me forcefully. So yeah, and that, and my eyes were being open to just seeing things that were wrong ministry wise, and with them not teaching the word in its proper context and things like that. So with that, I left that church. That is number 22. And I didn't attend another service for like 3 years. Which leads to, like how I said, I have a new church, which is number 23, and I joined the worship team. The church I currently attend is Bridge Church NYC in Brooklyn, New York, which is where I currently live. Number 24. My father, biological father, he passed away. And it hit my family very, very hard. Yeah, it was very unexpected. He passed away April 17th of 2019, and yeah, it hit my family very hard. And the past Thanksgiving, it was hard, I know, for my siblings, for me too, because he was the one that always wanted to bring family together, and he was a great cook. Like my sister, she even asked me if I knew my dad's recipe for ziti, and unfortunately I do not. Like I could try to make my own ziti, but I know it would be nothing like my dad's. Number 25. I set a boundary with my biological mother. I came to the decision that she has no access to my life anymore. Of course, I know I have to do the work spiritually, psychologically, emotionally to forgive her for the way that I've been hurt by her, because I do not want to go to heaven with a grudge in my heart. But at the same time, she has lost access to my life. Her instability, her inconsistency, her unwillingness to admit that she is at wrong for a lot of things, and for her to not think that we owe her something when it's really the opposite. She owes all of us something. So yes. Number 26. I have a job that I really love. I work in the after-school program. I can't say the name of it because I don't know if I can talk about it like that on social media. I'm sorry. Because I'm pretty sure that's like part of like the thing I signed when I started to work for them. But anyway, but yes, I work in an after-school program in the Bronx actually, so I do travel for work, which is not bad. I'm used to the commute. But I work with 4th and 5th graders, and this is my second school year working with them. I started working with them last year, and I also work with them in the summer for summer camp. And I love it. I've always loved working with kids. I've been working with kids for a few years now. I want to say like 4 or 5 years, maybe almost 6 years that I've been working with kids, and I really love it. And this is the longest job that I have kept so far, and that is a big accomplishment for me, because for those who deal with depression know that there are days where you do not have the will to want to get up out of bed because you just stop caring. You stop caring. And that's how before I quit 2 jobs because of that, and I got fired from 2 jobs because of that. And even there's still days where it is a struggle, but I have, luckily, thankfully, I have a supervisor who's very understanding of my mental health needs. And he tells me that it's like if I ever need like a day for myself, that is totally fine. And that if I ever like even want to take a break from working, that is totally fine, and he won't take it any type of way, which I know again is a blessing, because not a lot of people are granted that in a work environment. And the last one, I put my phone down for this one. The last one, number 27, is that I am alive. I'm alive. I know I'm alive because God has kept me. And to be honest, my faith in God has not been strong as it should be. I'm not saying this to get sympathy. I am saying this to be real. I am making this video to be real. I want the goal for all of my videos, any content that I put up on this YouTube channel of mine, even if I'm inconsistent with loading them in a certain time frame, is that I want to be real. Us as Christians need to be more real about the everyday and not just those like picture perfect moments that happen like once in a blue moon. Like the everyday is what makes the life of a Christian and the relationship between a Christian and God, like that is like the foundation, like of how it builds it up, how it gains strength, how it gains endurance, you know? So yeah, I haven't been as consistent with praying and reading my Bible. I will do it like every other day. And me also dealing with a diagnosis of depression, anxiety, and BPD, borderline personality disorder. It can be very tough to zone in on God, and that is something that I'm trying to do now. I'm trying to zone in on God, on his voice, on what he wants from me. And the thing is that I know what he wants already. It's the same thing that I want, which is to be at a place in my mental health journey where I like myself, because I don't like myself. I never have. In a place where I am like healed, in that where if when I do come across like a trigger, like I know how to deal with it and I won't go into a breakdown, and I won't have these like aggressive manic episodes and mood swings, but then when they do come around, I am in control of it better. But I made it to 27. I don't know what this year has in store for me. I don't know what will happen, which of course sets off my anxiety a bit, but we just have to wait and see. Thank you for watching this video. Again, if you are not subscribed, click the bell next to the subscribe button. For those that have been subscribed to me already, thank you for watching. Any ideas you have for videos, topics you would like me to discuss, please leave them down in the comments below. And I don't know when the next video will go up, but I hope that I will see you, that you will be watching me for the next one. Bye.